5 big geyser areas in the world. They're found in the USA, New Zealand, Iceland, Chile and Russia, namely in the Kamchatka Nature Reserve, in the canyon of the Geyser River, Kamchatka. The nature reserve was founded in 1934, but people had no idea about geysers that were discovered only 7 years later. The Valley of Geysers in Kamchatka is the only geyser field in Eurasia and the most compact in the world. The area of around 6 square kilometers has over 50 active geysers, dozens of pulsating, boiling and permanently active springs, mud and water pools. The valley consists of 2 thermal fields. Verkhny Geyser, Upper Geyser Field, occupies the left bank of the river and stretches for about 1.5 kilometers. No geysers or boiling springs can be observed here, but only numerous minor stream vents. The second thermal field, called Geyser, stretches for 4 kilometers along both banks of the river. This is the place of the concentration of pulsating springs and geysers. All geysers are quite different in their activity. They can erupt once in 10 minutes, or once in 10 hours. Scientists often name the springs in a funny way. The first one to be found was named Firstborn, then Giant, Gap, Buratina, Small Stove and other springs appeared here. The Valley of Geysers faced serial natural disasters 3 times in its history. In 1981, Cyclone Elsa caused intensive rainfalls that raised the water level in the river, and the flows of mud and stones destroyed many springs. In 2007, in the upper reaches of the Vodopadny stream, a powerful landslide hit the area with a mighty mud flow that has changed the landscape of the valley in 7 minutes. Some geysers were buried under the rubble, others were flooded by a new turquoise lake called Geyser, but the major part of the springs has remained. After a while, some geysers managed to recover, but some geysers are buried under the rubble forever. The third disaster occurred on January 3, 2014. A new landslide caused a powerful mud flow and flew through the riverbed of the Geyser River, hit the dam of the lake that practically disappeared, and again damaged some part of geysers and springs. Poisonous marshes are hidden under the bright green grass of the Valley of Geysers. Only lawns with artemisia can guarantee safe and steady ground under your feet. The inhabitants of the valley managed to get used to unusual conditions of the valley. Wagtails, for example, create their nests on warm grounds. By doing so, they spend less time sitting on eggs, and young birds grow faster. One of the most interesting plants of the valley is a 300-year-old Erman's birch. In 1941, a field camp of the first explorers of the valley was organized near this tree. 70 years later, the birch was given the status of the important natural monument.